Don't judge me.
In my mind are pictures of a summer day.
Today, I am reviewing Peach Girl, and Peach Girl is a high school drama taking place in Japan as we follow a teenage girl named Momo, and that's about it. There really is no story, and it basically just shows her relationships, love life, and rivalries. I got that from Wikipedia because I could not summarize the show by myself. When I was younger, I went to the library, and I went to the library a lot when I was younger, and I went through the graphic novel or manga section, and I saw this title called Peach Girl, and I was like, okay, this seems quite interesting. So I checked it out, and I started reading it, and I really liked it. I was young, per se. Let me just get that clear. I was young at the time. And so I read the whole entire series, and also, I read it with my friend as well. We were both kind of into it. So then I got older, obviously, and then one summer day, I was just like, I remember I read this manga. It was the only manga I ever read. So I decided to search for it, because I forgot the name of it. And I found it, and I found out that it had an anime. So I decided to take a look at it. It's on YouTube. It's still on YouTube. So I was like, okay, I don't have to pay anything. And, yay, woo. So I watched it, and I got through it, and it was good nostalgia. That is the only reason why I watched this show, was purely for nostalgia. And it's been a while since I first saw the show, so I had to go back and watch a good portion of it again. And the first time I watched it, I was just smiling. I was like, oh, I remember this part in the book, and blah, 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 blah. I watched it again purely from a critic's point of view, and oh my god, it's just a whole new experience for me. I'm gonna first get to the characters here. We're gonna start with Momo, which is the main character. In the show, they make a big fuss over the fact that she is not like most girls in the show. She has tan skin and orange hair, and the reason she has this is because she's on the swimming team, and so the sun, of course, tans her skin and keeps her tan, and then the chlorine from the water somehow messed up her hair color. In Japan, what is seen as beauty is to be as pale as you can be. So she's very self-conscious about this, and I would say she is really shallow about it. That's all she thinks about. How can I make myself be more whiter? And so she tries to wear to cover up as much as she can. She puts on a ton of suntan lotion every hour, stays in the shade, doesn't even swim anymore because of the fact that if she swims more, then she'll get more tan. And she does all of this because of a boy she likes named Touji, which I will get to him in a few, but she's liked him ever since, junior high, and she heard a rumor, or someone told her, that Touji only likes pale girls, pale-skinned girls, so ever since then she's been trying to get more pale. And so, which I have to say first off is if someone likes you, they're not going to care how you look, if you have tan skin or not. I mean, really? She gets in a lot of situations where she needs someone else to get her out of it. She pays too much attention to what other people think, and it's okay, I know that it's really hard sometimes to have rumors going around and, to keep going and to stay sane with everyone talking about you behind your back or something, but really she should not. And it's really not that big of a deal of what people are talking about, but she just takes it so personally, and it just drives me crazy. Her best friend is a girl who is trying to sabotage her life, and she knows this. Why the heck are you still friends with her? They have, later on they have backstory of why she is friends with her, but that still is no excuse. If someone was acting crappy to me and trying to take everything I love, I would not become friends with them no matter how nice they might have been at the beginning. But a positive I would have to say is that she does have more personality than Bella, so that's not saying much though. Now this is the part where I'm like, okay, girl, you need to just take a chill pill, sit your butt down. There is this scene where, like, Touji and her finally get together, and it, like, happens in, like, the first episode, so it's not a spoiler, and who cares about spoilers for the show anyway? Her and Touji get together. He doesn't believe Momo when she says that Sai, who is her friend, is trying to ruin her life and take him away from her. So he's in the hospital because of something, and then so she decides, because he still won't listen, she threatens to jump out of a window. And the funny thing is that she's just so dumb because she thinks she's just gonna walk away with some broken bones, and the level they are on is at least on the 4th or 5th floor. Maybe even the 6th. So it's like, no, girl, you jump, you die.
Wait, Momo!
She has no reason to lie. There's no purpose for Sai to deceive everyone. Wouldn't all this be worth it to her if in the end she had you to herself?
It doesn't matter. Just get out of the window before you fall.
No, I love you. But no matter what I do, I can't get you to trust me, and it just kills me. Listen to me. Listen to what I'm saying. Listen to me like I matter. Because if you don't, I swear I will jump out of this window. No, please don't do it.
A fall from this height would mess you up.
Fine by me. Some broken bones, some stitches. At least then I get to spend some time with you, Touji.
It's not worth it to jump out of a window because of a boy. This is for everyone. They never ever listen to, like, fully the explanation someone has. Like, someone will be late, and then the person leaves, and then they just don't bother to listen to the whole truth until it's too late, and they're like, oh my god, they were actually really considerate for me, and I just left them there. And they have a perfectly acceptable explanation to why this happened. Ugh! Okay, so now I'm gonna get to Sai, which is Momo's friend, and she's the one that's trying to steal her life. And I don't understand in the first place why she would want to copy Momo. She is not that great of a person. She's very selfish, which, of course, a character that wants to try to steal everything for herself would be very selfish, so I'd say that's intentional. She's just there to be the mean girl of the high school. At first, she does kind of harmless things. Like, okay, it's not harmless for the main character, because it literally does, like, ruin her life. But after a while, she goes too far. I mean, it's to the point where, like, illegal stuff can happen and things that can ruin other people's lives, not just Momo's, and can actually cause some mental distress for the rest of that person's life. I can't believe it, but actually the one good thing I have to say about her character is that the show actually manages to make her likable in the end, and just completely did a 180 turn with her character. First, she was just unbearable that you just wanted to see her get run over by a truck. She's just so unbearable. And for them to actually make her likable in the end and to kind of sympathize in some ways for her, I'm like, you know what? I will give the show that. Kudos to them for that, at least. Now we're gonna get on to Kyrie, which is one guy in this love triangle. So, at first, actually, he's the most likable in the show, and he's, like, always there for Momo, and he kind of annoys her, but, like, in a playful way. He has a touching backstory with the school nurse, Misao, I think her name is, and at first I was like, oh, that's kind of cute, but then this is where I start to get into an issue with his character. He drags someone else into his problems. He leads Momo on, and finally when they're like, oh, let's get together, and then he's like, wait a minute, so I'm not truly over someone yet, so I can't be with you, after like most of the show of him always trying to egg her on to be in a relationship, and all of a sudden now he's like, no. He thinks that she's gonna, like, sit around forever and wait for him. So now we're getting into the other guy in this group, Touji. There's not much to say about him. I think he has a very bland character, and he's, like, second to stupid to Momo. I have to say, though, that, like, halfway through the show, he actually does a very noble thing, and a very selfless thing for Momo, and which got me like, okay, he's not a bad guy, but he's still kind of stupid. So now I'm going to get into the positives about the show, and I have to say first off that actually the opening theme song is pretty catchy. This is the type of show that would be so fun to watch with a bunch of people and just ripping on it. That's kind of a negative thing about it, but it's actually can be turned into a positive, like, hey, this could totally be a fun thing with a group of people. The characters are drawn solidly. Yeah, they're drawn well as the backgrounds. The animation, it's fine, but nothing really special, and they definitely cut corners a lot with what they do, so yeah. Yeah, the characters are more likable than Twilight. At some points, there are a couple of points where they actually do a good job at the drama. There are a couple of things that stand out, and it actually makes you really feel something, just a smidge. There are a bunch of negatives for this show, so I'm going to first say that this is way too dramatic. They make every little thing so dramatic, and then the music just melodramatic as well. They don't even have like a variety of tracks to use. It's just the same thing over and over again. I keep comparing this to Twilight because this is obviously the show for Twilight fans. Because it's basically the same, it's just no vampires or werewolves, and it's much more in a realistic sense. But yeah, really, it's almost the same thing. And then this is just terribly written. It's terribly written. As I said, at some points they actually do a good job with the writing with some of the dramatic points. However, not much of those. So it's terribly written, especially in the dialogue. Oh god, it's just downright sometimes like it's really funny. And it's not supposed to be. It unintentionally makes you laugh. It's just like when you have badly written dialogue, then the acting isn't that solid either, which brings me over to the acting. It ranges from okay to terrible. Maybe the Japanese version's better. Another thing that's bad about the show, love triangle. I am so sick of love triangles. Seriously, come up with something new. The main character cannot make up her mind. She keeps just going between these two boys, leading them on, and frankly, she does not deserve either one of them. As I said, with the writing being just the dialogue being terrible, it can be really torturous sometimes to watch. So hey, if you want to torture your younger brother or something or someone, just sit them down and let's watch Peach Girl because they will hate it. All characters are just so freaking gullible. They believe anything they hear, and they don't ever think to ask someone else to get the full information from someone else. And as I mentioned before when I was talking about Momo, is that none of them freaking listen to everything that happened in this situation. These characters do not freaking communicate. That's what's wrong here. That's just how the whole entire show is. It's just a miscommunication. That's all that happens. And the show would be over in just one episode if they just talk to each other. And as well is that it's very predictable. Just think of anything in a drama, like a teenage drama, and it's probably in here. And here's where it kind of gets weird, is that Peach Girl looks like a very harmless teen drama. Teenagers can watch and be like, hey. But no, I guess this is kind of normal for anime, where they have a straightforward teen drama or something, and then it just goes wait, what the heck did they just literally just do that? They make it look like, okay, it can be for 13-year-old girls and stuff like that, but then they add in the element of rape. And let's not forget about the domestic abuse as well. It's just so out of place. It's just what? Oh, and then there's the age problem here where teenage girls that are in high school, so they're obviously maybe 18, at the most 18, but 17 or 16 or whatever. And they're dating people way out of high school and college probably, so that means that they're probably either in their mid-20s or something. So then that's that issue of high school students being with grown men. And then, I mentioned it before that, an emotional scene, and then they just completely ruin it with something just typical and cliche next minute. The characters are just so poorly written. can be annoying at times. They're so dumb. They never communicate with each other. And then the dialogue is just horrendous. The voice acting is just subpar to just horrible. It's okay, I guess, for people who like Twilight. If they don't want smart characters, then this is right up that person's alley. Honestly, this is just a really poorly written, just bad anime and manga at that point as well. I don't know what made me read this manga in the first place, but it's definitely getting 1.5 stars. There'll be some good points, but it's just very scattered, and it just is very limited to that feeling you have for it or sympathy, and it goes right back to being just a dumb old drama. That's my review. I wanted to get it over with first off because it's just, but I guess I have to kind of keep it balanced to where I review great stuff and then not so great stuff as well. So I mean, I just, why? Yeah, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe. Remember to always keep it real. And I will see you next time for my next review. Goodbye.